and gentlemen, this fight is 3 rounds in the APFC lightweight division, sponsored by Staffing Partners and TVG Advisors. And now introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, a mixed martial artist. He stands 5 feet 9 inches tall, official weight 152.8 pounds. Coming in tonight with a record of 2 victories with 2 defeats from Lome, Togo, and now he fights out of Madison, Wisconsin, Maxime-Kolbe, one hand, Ayikoue. And across the cage, his opponent fighting out of the red corner, a freestyle fighter standing 5 feet 10 inches tall, official weight 155.5 pounds. Coming in tonight with a record of 3 victories with 1 defeat, fighting out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Luis Guevara Jr. And your referee in charge is Chris Claviter.
A big pop for Luis Guevara Jr. as well here as we get the ball rolling with this lightweight bout. Luis Guevara Jr. welcoming Maxime-Kolbe Ayikoue out of Capital City Mixed Martial Arts, and we are off.
Guevara coming out, taking the center, just kind of being a little bit patient, but also a little passive-aggressive with his striking. Throwing that jab out there.
Just flicking that kick out as Guevara, but when it lands, what a impact behind it.
Ayikoue is just throwing those kicks, man, from left field. But he has a lot of pop, a lot of power behind his strikes.
A well-rounded fighter at this point in his career is Ayikoue, but as he mentioned, a Taekwondo fighter. Back when he was in his native of Togo, there was no mixed martial arts for him, so he was all in on the TKD, but truly that was all just in training for this moment, where he looked to make a name for himself in mixed martial arts. Currently 2-2.
Guevara Jr. just being calm, cool, collected. Very fluid with his striking, picking his spots, not overexerting, just dropping in that left hand whenever he sees it.
Sliding in that left straight through the guard of Ayikoue was Guevara Jr. 2 southpaw fighters facing off.
And I think the thing that's most impressive about a lot of the Rufus sport fighters, they learn to strike and be defensive at the same time. So look for them to keep their head in the pocket, but as they throw, they're slightly taking their head off the center, and just the hands are always in a position where they can strike or defend at any moment. You don't see them load up. You don't see them put too much of their body into their strikes. They're never out of position.
As far as strikes to the body goes, there goes one a little bit low of the waistline as Guevara.
A little bit low. I think Guevara just threw it, and his opponent just deflected it and changed the trajectory a little bit. However, it didn't go where it probably should have. Here we have the replay. I mean, that was close. I think it caught him as he was arcing up towards the end of the foot there. I'm not quite sure. I don't know about that one, Christian. What do you think?
I think sometimes a replay isn't necessarily telling of what happened. If it sort of clipped the corner of the cup, you know as well as I do that sometimes it's nicking that cup that causes the, we'll call it disturbance.
Slow motion there. That looked like a legal kick to me. I think we might have some great acting here in the APFC cage tonight. I don't know about that one.
Whatever the case, we move forward with the action here. Unloading some kicks is Maxime-Kolbe Ayikoue. And a nice jab there by Maxime-Kolbe.
Beautiful, just darting in and out as Ayikoue. I cannot get that name right, Christian. I don't see how you do it so flawlessly.
I appreciate the credit. I'm pretty certain I'm not doing it flawlessly, but if you want, we'll just go with Maxime-Kolbe. And I'm assuming it's that Taekwondo background, David, that maybe is the reason he's so good at darting in and out.
He's so fast. He's almost like very flash-like. In and out, in and out. You blink, man, and he can catch you and probably put you out. However, in contrast, is Guevara Jr. just kind of being calm, staying in position, keeping good hand posture, keeping his head over his hips, and he's always balanced to where he's striking from everywhere, and he's not exerting too much energy.
So in a contrast of styles like the one we're seeing right now, David, where Luis Guevara, coming out of Duke Rufus's gym, which is primarily known as a Muay Thai gym, would you want to adjust your striking to fight the more traditional martial artist in Ayikoue? Or is it just, I'm going to go ahead and put the pedal to the metal and impose my game plan?
No, you don't want to adjust. You don't want to adjust. That style is actually built for people like that. Like I said, he's not exerting too much energy. He's never off balance, which means his defense is going to be great. And if you see, as he throws here, as we have highlights, both of these guys, he throws, oh, there we have the foul.
Oh, here
right
we go.
There.
Don't give me those finger quotes in the air, buddy.
The quote-unquote foul right there. Guevara Jr. is never out of position, so when he strikes, he's always in a good position to defend at the same time. So when you're fighting a chaotic striker like that, that style is perfect for that. I think Guevara Jr. is up 1-0 right now. The thing is, he doesn't want to play into his opponent's game because that will put him into danger.
And with the legendary coach Duke Rufus imploring his fighter, you can see him telling him to continue to press forward. Maybe it's more of a smothering approach that they're going to try to take out the Taekwondo fighter in Maxime.
That's the way to do it. That's another approach. I think if Guevara Jr. is comfortable with his grappling, I think that's a good way to do it. Just give his opponent a different look. It's not as risky.
And we are off in the second round. Luis Guevara Jr. taking on Maxime-Kolbe Ayikoue. One hand. But he's going to most certainly need both hands and both feet if he wants to solve the riddle that is Luis Guevara Jr. Moving forward with an axe kick is Maxime.
One small nuance that we should look at from Guevara Jr. is the small little hand feints that he's doing. He's constantly giving Ayikoue like something to look at, right? Just small little hand feints, small little head feints, and just throwing off the rhythm of his opponent.
A beautiful low kick there by Maxime. Continuing to press forward is Guevara Jr. A beautiful knee to punctuate a combination there by Luis Guevara Jr.
Guevara Jr. snuck that knee in, did a great job coming in, framing with the left hand, looking to strike from wherever. He's always in good position, and that's very impressive from a young fighter.
Earlier on, I said Rufus Sport known primarily as a Muay Thai gym, but you know what? I'm going to go ahead and correct myself. At this point, Rufus Sport putting out incredibly well-rounded fighters. It's just that the legend, Duke Rufus himself, of course, known as a Muay Thai fighter. With that being said, we're seeing just a very well-rounded skill set from Guevara Jr.
They have definitely perfected the craft of MMA, mixed martial arts. I remember training with Duke Rufus. Whoa, Guevara Jr. just landed a beautiful strike there, following up with the knees. His opponent screaming and talking to the ref. Perhaps he thought there was another foul. I don't think he has room to call fouls at this point.
Not at this point, my friend. We are just past the midway point of the fight, and the tide, which is already in the favor of Guevara, is just continued to flow as it's all Guevara Jr. at this point. Landing beautiful knees to the midsection and to the legs, and oftentimes punctuating those with a quick break and great hands, as you're seeing the handiwork of Guevara Jr. written on the face of Ayikoue, as that nose is really sprung a leak. A beautiful overhook toss there by Ayikoue.
Ayikoue got the hip toss there, came up top. Now he's in a great front headlock position.
Nice job of breaking away by Guevara Jr., continuing to press the fighter. Another beautiful knee to the midsection for Guevara Jr.
Guevara Jr. just sneaking that knee in. He's not loading it up. He's not, admitting too much effort as he throws his strike. So he could do this all night.
And taking the center of the cage is Guevara Jr. Ayikoue moves beautifully, but at the end of the day, it's Guevara Jr. that continues to lead the dance as we wrap up this second round in a very exciting lightweight contest.
Beautiful technical performance by Guevara Jr. right now. He's just so fluid and so passive-aggressive with his striking, landing at will, and as you can see the work there on Maxime's face.
We speculated a lot of forward pressure was going to be coming from Luis Guevara Jr., and it was very much the case.
Here we have the replay. Guevara Jr. sneaking that knee right in there, just coming forward and just boop, popping it right in there whenever his opponent opens up. And I think that knee is just taking the air out of Maxime here. More of the same here. This time he went up top to the knee as he kind of telegraphed his opponent, bringing his head down through the knee up the middle, constantly pressuring forward. His opponent thought there was a foul. However, he needs to stay focused. That's if there's anything I need to say to speak to Maxime. He had good moments as we saw that hip toss right there, and he almost got back into the fight, but he lost focus. Talking to the ref, you got to focus on what's in front of you.
And especially when you have the case where someone like Luis Guevara Jr. is clearly just getting more and more comfortable inside the cage in stringing techniques together as the fight progresses. At the end of the day, it's Maxime-Kolbe Ayikouye's job to turn the tide.
Ayikoue, he was doing great early, darting in, darting out. Guevara Jr. has been more fluid in his approach here, and I think that's paid off for him.
I love that Guevara Jr. is still looking to press forward. He's still looking to land those big shots, mixing it up. You talked about the feints there. Beautiful work by Guevara.
That just tells me he understands the psychology of fighting. He understands that you don't really have to do much output as far as striking and damage is concerned. It's the small nuances, the fading, the stepping forward. He knows the pressure that he's putting on his opponent right now, and Maxime is not responding to it very well.
Well, when you've had the success that Guevara Jr.'s already had, you're going to get those big reactions on the feints. And at the end of the day, that speaks volumes to the type of fight that we've had thus far if you're Luis Guevara Jr.
And you can see he's getting his opponent thinking, he's just overloading the software of Maxime. And he's just kind of jamming them out without throwing strikes because he's keeping them thinking, what's next, and you can't predict it. And he's just kind of getting in the head of Maxime Ayikoue here.
Nice double underhooks there by Guevara Jr. As long as he can avoid one of those overhook tosses that Ayikoue had in the second round, it'll be a great way to control the position. There he is, just shucking Maxime-Kolbe to the mat.
Guevara Jr. with a hip toss on his own and then points to his opponent. Little showmanship right here tonight in this last minute and a half.
I've been calling that the Holloway effect. In the last couple of months, the amount of people I've seen point to the center of the cage asking to scrap, it's clearly a fad that's been started by the great Max Holloway. Continuing to press forward, just about a minute left in this lightweight bout as Luis Guevara Jr. giving Maxime-Kolbe Ayikoue everything he could handle since the opening bell.
Maxime just doesn't seem to have an answer. He seems to be always a step or two behind in the striking exchanges, and we saw him have some success early in the grappling with the hip toss. However, it seems Guevara Jr. has taken over that as well and is just having his way at this point.
Some very labored breathing by the West African Maxime-Kolbe. And again, with those feints, you touch, you fake, and almost every time getting a reaction from Ayikoue is Guevara.
I call that sleight of hand. You know, he's poking his hands over here to strike over here. He's looking left to punch right. He's looking high to grapple low. He's just doing everything and keeping his opponent on his toes.
Fantastic work thus far by Luis Guevara Jr.
Guevara Jr. is so confident to drop his hands there the last 10 seconds. I think he just thought, hey, I got all the data I have on you. He's not worried. He's calm, he's cool, he's collected. Put on a great technical performance tonight.
Yeah, after just about 9 perfect minutes, there is no reason for a lack of confidence for Luis Guevara Jr. as it's all smiles in the Rufus corner once again. But how about that? If you actually look over at Luis Guevara, he's the one that's kind of shaking his head. Most likely the type of fighter he is, he's out there looking for the finish, not pleased that he went all 3 rounds.
You know, they definitely have high expectations, and I think he lived up to them if you ask me tonight. Here we have the replay. We see Guevara Jr. just poking, priding, sleight of hand, just feigning, and striking at will. Nice 3-2 combination right down the middle there to finish off the fight. You know, I'm impressed by everything that I've seen from him tonight.
Well, Luis Guevara Jr. most certainly has plenty to feel good about and a lot to learn from if you kind of take a look at the whole package tonight. a great matchup here in the lightweight division. Let's go ahead and get the official decision from Michael Hansen.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds of action, we go to the scorecards. And all 3 judges scored this contest 30-27 for your winner by unanimous decision, Luis Guevara Jr.
Luis Guevara Jr. advancing to 4-1 and taking home another big win to Rufus Sport. Very much you see he's happy to get the win, but you don't see exactly the big smiles that you'd usually see. And I think the reason being, David, is like most people in pursuit of excellence just have the highest of expectations of themselves.
You know, not a bad problem to have, but in this game, the fight game, it's not fun. So if you can go out there and just have fun at moments, that's important too. You got to have that balance. And here we have the replay. 2 high-level amateur guys here. Guevara Jr. was just coming out, having his way with the striking portion and segments of the fight. There's that foul. We don't know. I mean, I don't know about you, Christian. I didn't think it was a foul, but Guevara Jr. didn't let that deter him from his game plan. He did a great job of framing, landing that knee, which kind of took the air out of Maxime there. Beautiful hip toss, Holloway effect point there, as you say, Christian. And from that moment on, I think that's when he decided, hey, I'm taking over this fight. Tonight is my night. And he walks out of here with the W.
Firing on all cylinders